Yo, what's up? You are now rocking with Firelane Fridays. This is season 3, kicking off the new year official. Without further introduction, I go by the name of Wayne Watts. We got an amazing guest today, man. One of the dopest at Apple Music. So he's gonna be able to talk to you about streaming, about the music industry, and all of that. So make sure you guys show a warm welcome to Dionte Goodlett. Dionte, are you with us?
Yo, what's up, man? How you guys doing?
All right, bet. So we're going to hop straight into it. Ryan Woofer in the 10th grade at George Washington wants to know, what do you do at Apple?
Man, what's up, Ryan? How you doing, man? So basically what I do is I do indie label relations at Apple Music. Basically what that entails is, liaising with the indie labels, specifically some of the ones that I handle are like Empire and E1, liaising with them and, just getting all this stuff in and making sure they're getting featured on iTunes and Apple Music.
Akil in the 12th grade from Emily Griffith wants to know, why did you choose Apple?
Yo, Akil, what's going on? I chose Apple because I noticed that I always use Apple products. I mean, everything that I had, from my iPad to, the early stages I had, several iTunes going on and everything I had, it's just everything I had was Apple. So I was like, why not just go work for Apple? And I could just really be a brand ambassador for them on another level. So that's basically the reason why I chose to work for them.
9th grader Rebecca Roberts at Northridge and 10th grader Michael Baker at Gateway High School want to know, did you always know you wanted to be in this line of work? Like, what got you into it?
Yo, Rebecca, what's going on, Mike? I did actually. I had a funny little revelation one night. After graduating college, and it just came to me. Honestly, it was never more clear than in that moment. I just knew that I was going to go back home after graduating college, and then this was exactly what I was going to do. And it actually happened the way that I had dreamt it. So I did, up until a certain point, I did know that this is what I wanted to do.
Meek Malil, 11th grader from Northridge, wants to know, what did you major in college? And then did your major help you get into the music industry?
Meek, my man, what's going on? It did. It kind of opened the gates a little bit. I majored in marketing. And so having that marketing skill set and having that mindset and knowing the nuances of that field led me into, artists and label relations, which is basically figuring out good ways to market these labels and these artists. So it kind of just opened the floodgates for me.
Judy McCarthy from the University of Denver wants to know, what is the process of getting someone distributed?
Hey, Judy, UD, what's up? It really just depends. You have a different avenue that you can go through. You can, go through an indie label or an aggregator. An aggregator is somebody like a TuneCore or a CD Baby or DistroKid. If you're doing independent stuff, you can go through there, or some of the bigger indie labels, like AWOL, like I mentioned before, Empire, E1. You can go through that route. Or if you got the skill set and you got some eyes on you, you can always get signed by a major label and they can distribute your music for you and provide other services. So, it just depends on what you want to do. There's, especially with the emergence of people like Chance the Rapper, who are big indie artists, it's proven and it's known that you can do it by yourself.
Which is perfect for the next question. Victor Palestino from Metro University wants to know, how do you guys deal with independent artists such as Chance the Rapper?
Oh man, Victor, that's a great question, man. Great question. We treat them just as we treat everybody else. Once you get into the game, you kind of realize that there's sometimes there's a distinction between indie artists and major label artists, and the amount of money they may have or this and that. But we treat them all the same. We treat Chance on the same level as we treat Drake. As we can see with the promotion that we did last year, we had Chance's album exclusive. So we treat everybody the same here. We treat everybody the same.
Hillary in the 10th grade at George Washington wants to know, what is the starting salary for someone in your position?
Lovely name, Hillary. Lovely name. I can't really speak to what it is. I think it really depends from company to company, especially in the tech world. I could probably, if you look at Glassdoor or something like that, one of these sites that estimate, you could probably say, I don't know, maybe 50K, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't quote me on that though.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Keenan James, a 12th grader at Emily Griffith, wants to know, what do you know now that you wish you knew before getting into the industry?
Oh man, Keenan. Keenan, I think it's the opposite way around. I wish I didn't know some of the things that I know now that I'm in the industry, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I think it's honestly that way. But for the sake of answering your question, I think it's the amount of work ethic that you have to come in with. It's the same for anybody working in the industry. As an artist coming into the industry, it's, once you make it through the door, that's really just the first step. Once you get through that, you really got to just work harder and work harder and work harder and continue, and if not even more, grow that work ethic that you had just to get in. So I think that's the one thing that I wish I knew before.
Dionte Taylor, in 12th grade at Gateway, wants to know, what is the process for a local artist to get music on Apple? You talked about TuneCore. So how would he go about doing TuneCore or CD Baby? Do you know that process in detail, or what are some suggestions you have for him?
I do, Dionte. So I think one of the things that if you're going to go indie, once you submit your stuff to TuneCore, you upload it, you put in all the information that they're going to ask you for. Whoever your TuneCore rep may be, if you have a contact there, getting your stuff on iTunes, Apple Music is fairly simple. I'm sure that most of these services have like a submission sheet or something of that nature. If they don't, I would ask about it. And so that's how you basically get your stuff. You submit it through your aggregator or whoever your label may be. And that stuff comes to me. It comes to me, and then I pitch that stuff to the editorial team. So I think that's the main route you should take.
Jose at Northridge wants to know, what is the hardest part about your job?
Oh, what's up, Jose? I think that the hardest part will probably be, just always being on the go. And it's hard to really commit to things all the time, because there's always several things going on that you really want to do, or that, you really want to give attention to somebody, or a group of people. And it's just like, you can't be everywhere. I'm hoping for the day that we can create this AR. I can get a clone sometime soon that I can just be everywhere. But, until that time, I think that's one of the hardest things, that especially when you're such a fan of the music and you want to be everywhere, you just really can't. That's the hardest thing.
10th grader Clayton at George Washington, and also Mateo on the 9th grade from Northridge, asked the same question. What's the best thing about your job?
Oh, fellas. Oh man, the best thing. I think it's actually just seeing the passion and artists' eyes, and when they're in the studio making music, just seeing that passion that they have for it is really one of the best things ever. And it kind of drives you to do a better job, and to be a better person, and opens up your creative palette, if you choose to have one. It just lights a certain fire inside of you. So seeing artists doing what they do day in and day out, and knowing that process and that grueling struggle that they go through, is really a blessing.
Daquan Hill in the 12th grade at Gateway High School wants to know, does Apple have any internships? And if so, what is the process into getting one of those? How would you go about solidifying an internship?
It's rather easy, Daquan. All you got to do is go onto the Apple website, man, and go look at the jobs, and then you should just filter by the internships, and they're always there. So just go on, log on, man, and search through. I would say we usually have them going on in the summer and the springtime. So, plan ahead, my friend, plan ahead.
Jordan Clayton at the Community College of Denver wants to know, what are some things you do to drive engagement to a release? So what are some things you guys do on the marketing side to drive that engagement?
It's really pretty simple. I think we like to make sure that things are getting features. So, whenever you see stuff on, those big banners on iTunes or Apple Music, wherever you're looking, we're making sure that's happening, and then, really socializing on our platform. So whether it be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and socializing that stuff out and making sure people are aware and constantly reminding them that these things are happening, and driving them to our content. So I think socializing is probably one of the biggest things, especially this day and age where a lot of people are living in that digital space and living on these platforms. So yeah, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's where it's at.
Lexi Redwine in the 10th grade at George Washington wants to know, who are your favorite new artists or artists that you work with? So either who are your favorite new artists or who's your favorite artist that you got a chance to work with?
Oh, man. That's a great question, Lexi. I come across so many great new artists. The only one that's on the top of my mind right now is an artist by the name of Daniel Caesar. He is just a phenomenal artist out of Toronto. I'm glad to work with him on every single project that we get to work on. Most recently, his single "Get You," featuring Kali Uchis, and then he also has a song called "Japanese Denim." Like those two records are amazing. I think he's going to be the next guy up in 2017.
Jalen in the 10th grade at George Washington wants to know, what's the biggest achievement you've had so far in your career?
Ooh, my biggest achievement. Geez, that's a good one, Jalen. That's a really good one. I think it's pretty simple for me. I think just the biggest achievement was securing this job shortly after graduating college, and my mom's birthday was actually a couple of days before. So when I had received the offer letter, I came home and I handed it to her and I told her happy birthday. And so just seeing her light up, like that's probably the greatest achievement that I could ever, have in my life. So I would say that's probably the biggest one right now.
What classes did you take in high school or college specifically helped you get into this career?
All my marketing courses, at the time, I'm going to be honest with you, at the time, I didn't realize how much they really helped me. But like I said, they, understanding the marketing that goes into it, and then also just knowing the vernacular and the language, that helps you tremendously. And, just as a little side note, I actually produced while I was in college. So, having that background as well, actually all throughout, high school and college, I was producing. So having that background also helps me, relate to artists and on a musical level. So those two things combined probably help me the most.
And if you could give 3 pieces of advice to students looking to pursue this career, what would they be?
Number 1, gather all the information before you go into any field within the music industry. So if it's, if you want to be in promotions, or if you want to be in A&R, or if you want to do labor relations, take interviews, even if it's an informational interview. If you got to shadow somebody, if you got to do some work for free for a little bit, do everything that you can and gather information before you step into that field, because you may go into that field thinking that you really love it, and you actually get it and you're like, this isn't really what I thought it was going to be. So I think just gather all that information. Number 2, once you get in, make sure the one thing that you do is garner a work ethic. You want to outwork and be smart about how you're putting your energy and putting your work once you get in that field, because it's you can tire yourself out if you're not smart about it. The industry is always on. I think there's probably 2 weeks out of the year when everybody doesn't work. So, you can really tire yourself out if you're not smart about how you work and, having that work ethic. And then number 3 is just enjoy yourself. especially if you're young coming in, just have fun, and, experience every single part of it, whether you love it or you hate it at the moment. Everything is a lesson, and everything is going to be a blessing in the end. So, just experience everything and do everything that you possibly can, especially if you're coming in at a young age. Just do everything. It'll be better in the end, trust me.
And the last question I ask all my guests, what is one goal you have for your career that you want to achieve when it's all said and done?
The one goal I have when my career is said and done is that when I'm gone, is that I want people to remember the impact that not only that I had on them, that I had on the industry. So, I'm not really looking towards making a specific amount of money. I'm not looking to garner, these accolades. But when it's all said and done, whether I have, X amount of accolades or not, I want when people bring up my name or bring up a certain subject, they'll be like, hey, Dionte, he really did something here for these artists, or, he led the way for these people. So that's all I want. I just want to make an impact and have that impact be remembered at the end of the day.
Awesome. Well, Dionte, it's been a privilege to have you on here, sir. This has been Firelane Fridays. Until the next installment, deuces.